Honestly, I wasn't expecting anything good, but this...
Ooh, just like a horror movie.
I was thinking the same.
Appearances can be deceiving.
Let's hope so.
This guy seems strangely familiar to me.
You don't say. You've been treated here too. That would explain a lot.
Oh, don't be stupid. I'm serious. Take a closer look.
No.
Well?
No, it can't be. Are you telling me it's him? M.B. Davis himself?
I'm sure of it, pal. It seems the gossip was true. The eternal king of jazz in a madhouse.
Oh, no, no, no. The poor devil.
Even if you manage to escape, there's nothing but hills and forests for 100 miles.
Imagine how many poor lunatic ghosts must haunt those woods.
Ooh, Sonny, you're creeping me out.
This picture...
It's very...
special? We should check in first. We should go to reception first. Let them know we're here.
Ah, like an angel from heaven, isn't she?
Yeah, half of her's still up there, I think.
That's rude.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Of all the great wild ones.
Greetings, miss.
Is it really you?
Well, yes.
Yes, it really is you. The chicken police.
I'm afraid so.
Of all that's furry and plumey, that's fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Miss, we'd like to ask...
Please, don't be scared. I'm just really excited. You know, I've read every book about you and your adventures, and I even collected newspaper articles when I was a little girl.
Indeed.
You can't imagine what an honor it is to meet you in person.
We really...
Oh God, oh God, oh God. Take a deep breath, Miranda. Take a deep breath.
Are you okay, miss?
Yes, I am. I just needed some air. So, dear detectives, Santino and Martin, what can I do for you?
Well, miss, we have some questions, if you don't mind.
I'd love to answer all of your questions, detectives.
Say, miss, what can you tell us about this place?
Our institution was standing even before the Great Meat War, and during the war, it was transformed into a military hospital. Since then, we're relentlessly working on treating injured minds under the leadership of Dr. Quetzal, the famous specialist.
The place seems pretty empty. Do many people work here?
We have 32 residents and 7 nurses, including me. We also have a 3-person maintenance and cleaning staff and, of course, the heart and soul of our institution, Dr. Quetzal himself.
I see. Now, this Dr. Quetzal, is he the director here?
Exactly. Director, scientist, researcher, patron, and doctor. And even a friend.
Quite a guy.
He certainly is.
So who is this Dr. Quetzal exactly?
He's a world-famous researcher of the mind, Mr. Featherland. He published countless books in the fields of psychology and psychotherapy.
Psycho what?
Unraveling the mind. It's the most crucial mission of the century, Mr. McChicken.
That's really good to know.
So this doctor's some celebrity, right? Does he usually meet other important persons?
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
Well, like Mr. Hobart Wessler, for example.
Ah, yes. That's something you should ask the doctor himself, but unfortunately, I don't think he has time right now.
He's swamped, is he?
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. He is very, very, very busy. All the time.
I thought so. What can you say about this, miss? Have you seen anything like it?
Of course. Our residents wear these for identification. But how did you come by it? They only wear them inside the institution.
Huh. I see.
The wristband does belong to one of our residents, but I'm afraid I'm not allowed to tell you more due to regulations.
Oh, come on, Miranda. It's us, the Chicken Police.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Miranda, this case is a matter of life and death. Lives are in your hands.
All right. I'll do it. Albert Wessler. The patient's name is Albert Thaddeus Wessler.
Figures. Just as we thought.
Thank you, Miranda. We'll never forget this.
Please, don't make me blush. And don't tell anyone you heard it from me.
Oh, we won't. I promise.
So when can we talk to Mr. Wessler?
I need to ask Dr. Quetzal. Please wait here.
Thank you.
We need to let them know we're here first.
Dr. Quetzal will see you. He's waiting for you in his office. Up the stairs, all the way down the hall, until the last door.
What a surprise. It's enough to mention Wessler's name and all the doors are open.
I wouldn't want to get mixed up in this, but do you think Albert is in danger?
Danger? What do you mean?
We haven't heard from him since he disappeared, and we're really, really worried.
I see. We don't know yet, miss, but let's hope for the best.
Great wild ones protect him.
Where is he?
No idea, Marty.
The smell of all that's furry. I'll never get used to it.
Well, reptiles have a disgusting body odor, Marty, but they feel exactly the same about us.
Exactly. Great wild ones, you scared the hell out of me.
I already sensed your arrival from afar. You know, snakes have a different sense of smell, and birds used to be our prey once upon a time.
Well, yeah. Luckily, we're living in civilized times.
Lucky. Please take a seat. How can I help you, gentlemen?
Your office is rather Puritan. Simple, I mean.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, yes. I can't let my mind wander from my work. I only keep what's essential in my office.
I see. That makes sense. Why do you have bars on your windows?
Because it's a room like all the others, and I'm just an animal, too, like all our residents.
With the significant difference of you being a doctor and not a patient, am I right?
It's not as big of a difference as you'd think.
An isle of reason in a sea of insanity.
Insanity is such a strong word, and it's mostly an abstract idea. Where does insanity start, and how long is one not insane? Interesting questions. Am I normal, or are you? Maybe neither of us.
You see, that's something I think about a lot nowadays.
If you like, I can give you an appointment.
Oh, this is your chance, Sonny. Don't miss it. We're already here.
Marty, clock up.
To be honest, gentlemen, your visit is anything but a surprise. I could even say I was expecting it.
What an introduction.
Please forgive me. I have the bad habit of immediately getting into the middle of things. How very rude of me. My name is Dr. Sessuus Quetzalcoatl, but most call me Dr. Quetzal to keep it simple.
The name is Santino Featherland, and this is my partner, Martin McChicken,
From the Predatory Division of the Clawville Police Department. Your fame is one step ahead of you.
We're used to it.
Certainly.
We have some questions about one of your patients, if you don't mind. We'd like to talk to him, if that's possible.
Please be specific, Detective.
Look, Doctor, we're too tired to play cat and mouse. Not that snake and chicken sounds any better.
Very funny, I must say. Just what I expected from you two detectives.
We know you know it's about Albert Wessler, Ibn Wessler's secret twin. Ever since we've said his name, all the doors have miraculously opened. That's what we call a bullseye.
Well, yes, why should I deny it? We're talking about a rather illustrious patient here, who's also a very particular medical case.
Now, that's much more interesting. So, are you willing to talk about him?
Because Albert, regrettably, has disappeared, and you are police detectives, I have no reason not to talk to you. Of course, I'm at your service, but you must understand I can't disclose information about my patients.
Not even if it's a matter of life and death?
Everything's a matter of life and death in here, Detective. This is a hospital, even if it's primarily for the mind, not the body.
Still, I'd like to give the impossible a try.
Please, Detective, just do your job, and I'll do mine.
How long was Albert a resident of the institution?
For quite some time, his first symptoms surfaced in his teens. Depression, panic attacks, and schizophrenia.
Was he brought here immediately after the first signs that something wasn't right?
You know, the biggest problem with an opinion on insanity is that animals are ashamed of it. That's the reason our institution stands out here in the middle of nowhere.
Because animals would rather hide what they're afraid to face.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
As far as I know, the Wessler family wasn't exceptionally wealthy.
Indeed, they were rather poor, but we offer our services gratis.
Then how do you sustain yourselves?
By the grace of the treasury of King Hector III, of course.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
My family and the royal dynasty had always been on good terms, Mr. Santino.
What kind of a place is this exactly? I assume it wasn't built as an insane asylum.
It used to be a mansion. Construction started during the occupation in 622. Then it stood empty for almost a century, until finally it went to the crown of Cloville when Hector's great-grandfather took the throne. The rest is history.
How long have you been working here?
I've worked here for more than 30 years, but it's been in my family's possession for almost 150 years.
So if I count correctly, as soon as it went to the crown, it was seized by your family.
That's almost accurate, Mr. Featherland.
What a lovely inheritance. Tell me, Doctor, do you know Madame Zavas?
Just like everybody else, I've heard of her, but I never had the pleasure of meeting her in person. I'm sure she's an interesting case.
Oh, you can be sure about that. I'd gladly get you two together if I had the chance. A spare cell would suit her very much.
Is that so?
As it turns out, she likes small, narrow, secret places.
Oh, I see. What a coincidence.
So when did Albert become a resident of your institute?
Albert and Hobart, or Ibn as you call him, arrived here almost exactly 4 years ago.
Could you describe that day more specifically?
It was not long after New Year's Eve, maybe the first week of the year, if I'm not mistaken. It was sleeting that day. Wind was banging incessantly on the windows. The power was going out for short periods of time.
What was your first impression of them?
I already knew the Wessler name. I knew who they were. Or at least I knew one of them, Hobart Wessler. He was famous. Gangster, moneylender, celebrity, lover.
And Albert?
He was new to me, an invisible gray ghost. The family had tried to keep his existence a secret.
Why?
Because they were ashamed of him, of course, Mr. Featherland. That's how it usually is.
What was your first impression of him?
He was silent, but observed everything that surrounded him. His eyes were constantly moving, never stopped for a second.
Was he afraid?
I wouldn't say so. It seemed to me that he wanted to move into our institution voluntarily. It looked as if he couldn't wait to be here, alone, locked up in silence and darkness.
Didn't you think of that as unusual?
Of course I did, but who am I to judge? It was rather special treatment.
What kind of special treatment did Albert get?
You know, if an institution like ours has to accept a Wessler as a guest, there's bound to be some favoritism.
And complete secrecy, I guess.
Yes, but that's the case for all our patients, Mr. Featherland.
Of course. So in what way did he receive more than the others?
Basically, we don't admit anyone into our institution without a complete and thorough prior assessment. In the case of Albert, we put that aside.
So you didn't even know if he had anything wrong with him?
Initially, no. He was more of a guest than a patient.
How did Albert relate to you?
Albert was immensely sophisticated and polite, so much so that his true emotions and thoughts could not be deciphered.
And that's why you thought of him as an exciting case.
That's right, Mr. Featherland. I see you're starting to get to know me in some way.
I'm just doing my job, Doctor.
You and me both.
Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities?
We found out very quickly that there was no other reason for the cause of his seizures. He had a cold and calculating personality who sometimes, especially on stormy days, took the reins over their shared mind.
He had these seizures from the beginning.
Yes, Mr. Featherland, but they started to intensify after Albert left our institution for the first time.
He did what? Left the institution? More than once?
Oh, yes, Mr. Featherland. Albert left the institution on several occasions until the last time, when he failed to come back.
Quetzal's not only very observant, but he's addicted to details. I must focus on that if I want to get closer to the truth. Focus. Addicted to details. So Albert could just walk in and out.
Far from it, Mr. Featherland, though Mr. Hobart Wessler had appeared on many occasions and took Albert with him. At those times, he usually brought him back the same day, or the next, at the latest.
What was the purpose of these outings?
Albert Wessler was working on a painting, Mr. Featherland.
Oh, yes, the painting. It's all starting to come together now.
So, you've heard about the painting?
Sure I have. Did Albert tell you about his relationship with his brother?
Rarely. He respected and loved his brother, but when he came to talk, he was usually angry.
Oh, why?
Oh, fear, jealousy, frustration, rivalry, maybe all of these combined.
So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. Every time he came back, he was like a different person. But unfortunately, his seizures also multiplied and became more dangerous.
More dangerous?
Albert was hurting himself, and on one occasion, he even tried to hurt me. It was unprecedented. unprecedented. It seemed his confined personality was taking over their shared mind entirely, piece by piece.
Do you think the painting caused it?
Not the painting, Mr. Featherland.
But its subject.
Exactly. He was obsessed, right until that fateful day when he returned to us for the last time.
What exactly happened that day, Doctor?
It wasn't Hobart who brought his brother back that day, but two of his gorillas. Not literally, I mean. And Albert was in a terrible, terrible state.
What happened to him?
I don't like to talk about that, Mr. Featherland.
It could be vital to the case, Dr. Quetzal. Don't back down.
Oh, you're right. There's no use turning back now. So, Albert's tongue was torn out, or cut off, I don't know exactly, and he was blinded in one eye, or rather, one of his eyes was missing entirely.
So you're saying Albert was brought back horribly mutilated?
Yes. And they didn't give any explanation as to what had happened. They simply told me it was some kind of accident.
Dr. Quetzal is cold and professional, but he's also very confused. Maybe it's cruel, but I must exploit his vulnerability if I want to learn everything about Albert. Focus, confused. You didn't believe Albert had an accident, is that right?
Of course not. I'm not naive. I knew immediately that Albert had been severely battered, and I was sure it had been his brother, Hobart.
Well, we don't know that, Dr. Quetzal.
Would you defend a monster?
Take it easy, Doc. One of the most critical elements of my job is not to make assumptions.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Featherland. I'm sorry I got carried away.
It's all right. Happens to everyone. Pull yourself together, Doctor. What was Albert's condition after the incident?
Mind your tone, Detective.
Sorry, Doc, but I can see you're disturbed by these memories.
How could I not be? I'm not a monster. We're talking about a mutilated animal here.
So, what was he like after the incident?
Even more silent than ever. No surprise, I suppose. He was not only silent in words, but also in his soul and spirit.
What do you mean by that?
He never painted anything again, and his seizures completely stopped.
That didn't get me far. What happened then? How did Albert disappear?
A few weeks later, Hobart came to visit Albert one more time. Albert had been in terrible condition by then. We even had to transfer him to another cell, a more safe one.
What did Hobart do during the visit?
He didn't do anything. He just sat and watched his brother, who was in an almost vegetative state by then.
Couldn't you manage to draw anything out of him? You or Hobart?
Nothing. For a while, he was trying to signal something. Perhaps he was too afraid. And most likely his fingers had been broken too, so he couldn't even write.
Do you think Hobart could have killed Albert?
It's horrible to say it, but I'm sure of it.
How did he disappear in the end? Did someone come for him?
That's what's most eerie about it all, Mr. Featherland. He simply disappeared. His door, which only I had a key for, was open.
Did anyone see anything?
No one. We interrogated the staff, even the patients. He simply vanished off the face of the wilderness. We don't know what happened to him.
Unfortunately, I have a hunch. Thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could be of help. But please, I now must attend to my work.
We understand, Doctor. Thank you. We need to let them know we're here first.
It doesn't matter how big a star you once were. Ending up lonely and crazy in a rotting insane asylum in the middle of nowhere is like the universe restoring its balance.
That was very poetic of you, Marty. Almost deep. Careful you don't drown.
Cluck you.
That's quite shocking information.
I think you understand why we kept it a secret. If it wasn't for Mr. Wessler's demand, we'd never let any of our patients walk freely outside our institution.
Then the accident happened.
Accident? Ha! We didn't believe it, not for a second. After Albert came back to us, horribly mutilated, he was different.
Different how?
If someone got one of his eyes poked out and his tongue torn out, he'd be different, but not like this. Albert was a different person.
We believe you, Doctor. So, can we take a look at Albert's cell?
I'd rather call it his room. Mr. Wessler lived in exceptional circumstances.
Thanks to the Wessler name, I guess.
Yes. Well, we try to make all of our patients stay as comfortable as possible, but Albert certainly enjoyed special favoritism.
I hope you don't mind if we take a look around in there.
That's not going to bother anyone.
Well, that's surprising.
I've never seen a cell like this before, that's for sure. I wouldn't mind living here myself.
It seems that being a Wessler gets you privileges.
And a healthy dose of danger.
Mostly that, yeah. Let's take a good look around. I'm sure we'll find some answers here. I can almost smell them.
Well, I smell paint, ink, plaster, some kind of oil. aging paper, slight smell of rat, and great expectations.
What the dickens?
Unmistakable. Yeah.
This place is bad for you, pal. But if you've already jump-started your beak holes, then sniff out the solution.
I'm on it, Boss Bird. You know, I don't think he had it so bad in here.
You mean apart from being separated from everyone you love in an ancient mansion filled with madmen?
You're right.
As always. Look at that. A letter. Identical twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the same woman. 2 men and 1 woman. Nothing good ever comes of that.
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly.
Of all the wild ones, Marty, please, stitch up your beak, okay?
Just use your imagination, old bird.
Scribbles, newspaper articles, study papers, poems, perfect chaos.
Just like the troubled mind of a troubled fella.
Yeah, but there's still a kind of order in it. It's just too intricate for you to comprehend.
If you say so, boss.
The style. It's very familiar to me.
You've been lonely for far too long, huh?
Not funny, Marty.
It is, a little. So this is an original Albert Weßler.
I think so. It's pretty good, I must say. And I saw something very similar in Natasha's room.
You kept me out of it.
Sorry, little boy. Maybe next time.
No way! Is this some kind of puzzle?
I don't think so. But we could still find something important here. A pattern, a sign, anything.
That design, it's like 2 letters.
Exactly. And where have we seen these 2 letters?
Where?
Think, Marty. Let's take a look in our bag.
That piece of painting. Of course. So it's a signature. A.W., that's...
Albert Weßler, the painter. This was what Natasha wanted to show us. The link between Ibn, Albert, and her.
It all started with the painting.
Yeah, and it'll end when we find the painting.
With Ibn Weßler.
Maybe, but I have another theory, too. A small window, a small hope. It's a piece of a painting, judging by how well it was. Identical twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the... Albert was madly in love with Natasha and would have done anything for her. I'm afraid he did exactly that. What do you make of this?
Apart from the fact the guy was totally insane? I don't know. What should I?
That maybe we've been chasing the wrong person all this time, Marty.
What do you mean?
Everything will be revealed soon.
Why do you have to be so melodramatic all of a sudden?
If I'm right, this'll flip the whole case upside down.
What's that, Sonny? A blurb from some horrible novel?
I just have to think things through before I come to any hasty conclusions, Marty.
Ugh, you're killing me. So, what now? Where to?
Back to Clawville, where we can finally put all the pieces together.
You're driving me crazy. But all right, let's go home. Oh, I don't believe this. Those two again?
Take them out. My car won't last much longer.
Don't worry, Sonny. I was born to do this.
Concentrate, Marty, for the God's sake.
Can you drive like you're not a fucking lunatic?
Shut up and shoot, you big feather pillow. Blind or what? Where did you learn to shoot?
Whew. Well, that was close.
A little too close for my taste, and it only strengthens my belief. Wessler is desperate. He knows if we survive, he's done for.
Well, come on, what did you work out? Will you tell me already?
Sure. Let's put the picture together, piece by piece. Let's start from the beginning. So, we got a case. Tried to show us the painting. And that painting would have shown us the way. And Albert Wessler. Albert painted Natasha, so he met her on more than one occasion. made Albert fall in love with Natasha. And on a fateful night, he killed his brother so he could take his place in secret and win Natasha's heart.
So what happens now?
The inevitable, Marty. We're going to the Wessler Mansion to confront Ibn with the facts.
You mean Albert, right?
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Natasha.
Do you think she knew about it?
Something stinks, Marty. The whole case seems too intricate.
Too many coincidences, right?
Well, after 10 years, you did learn something, didn't you?
9.
You're right.
Huh.
What?
You just laughed, Sonny.
What? No, I snorted.
No, you laughed.
Ah, just leave it, Marty.
I'll be telling this to my grandchicks.
All right, pal, that's enough.
Okay. So, Albert fell madly in love with Natasha and decided to have her for himself.
And his best chance was to trade places with Ibn Wessler.
So that's why the torn out tongue.
Yeah, Ibn couldn't squeal even if he wanted to.
What a diabolical plan.
More like insane.
But why the messages then? Why the threats? Albert got what he wanted. He could have got away with it.
I'm not a psychologist, Marty, but remember what the doctor told us. Albert has a seriously injured mind and a split personality. I think his two identities were at war with each other.
So the messages were written by one of his personalities, consumed by jealousy?
Something like that, Marty. But we can only learn the whole truth from him.
You're right. So, are we going or what?
We're going, Marty, to finally finish what we started.
Well, if there's anything you'd like to do before, do it now, boss. You won't have a chance later.
You're right, Marty. It's time to wrap everything up. Hey, Lewis. You weren't awake all night because of us, were ya?
I've never been this excited, Sonny. Seriously, it is a great honor to be part of the team. What is it?
You, Lewis, you don't stutter anymore.
What?
Just now, you didn't stutter. Not even a little.
Oh, I must be exhausted. It happens sometimes.
And it's back.
So, thanks again, Lewis. You always get us out of trouble.
Come on, boys. Don't even mention it. It is me who is grateful to be a part of an adventure of the Chicken Police.
Maybe the last one, too.
Hey, Sonny, don't spoil his mood. He's so cute.
Pardon?
Nothing. I just realized. Ibn at the Tsar Club.
Yes, Marty. Albert's been Ibn for a long time now. Do you remember what Natasha said about him?
That he's been acting strange recently?
Exactly. Like he's not himself anymore.
It was almost hitting us in the face, huh?
Don't blame yourself, Marty. We couldn't have figured that out just by ourselves. The whole story's too twisted for that.
Well, it's how we make our living, Sonny. And I'm sure we'll have plenty more twisted cases to come.
Who knows, Marty? It's not up to us. It's mostly not up to us, in fact.
Yeah, right. Do you think the asylum was in on it? I mean, covering up Albert's disappearance?
You know that reptiles give me the creeps. One of them even set fire to that ship. But oddly enough, the doctor seemed honest to me.
He seemed like a patient to me. Seriously, I thought everyone was crazy in that place.
Yeah, whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process, he doesn't become a monster.
Are you still talking about the doctor?
Good question.
So, what's the plan? We shove the letter and our theory in his face and see what happens?
Something like that, Marty. I think our presence will be enough for the truth to come out.
I really hope you're right, Boss Bird.
We have no other choice. So I hope so too.
Do you think it's a love triangle? I mean, could Natasha love Albert as well?
Good question, Marty. But I don't think so. When I first spoke to Natasha, she told me she loved Ibn in her own way.
In her own way, huh? And could she love two rats in her own way?
Maybe. Maybe she even suspected the truth, but didn't dare admit it, even to herself.
So, what do you think now that it's clearer?
I don't know, Marty, but I believe Natasha didn't mean to be bad. Not intentionally, at least.
I'm not as sure of that as you are, boss, but we'll find that out pretty soon, I guess.
I think Natasha was very much aware that wherever she goes, disaster follows her. But it's not her fault, and she can't do anything about it. There are people like that.
Really? You don't say. Someone remarkably similar came to mind right now.
You mean me, right?
Who can even read minds?
Maybe you're right, Marty. Maybe you're right.
Look, Sonny, I think if we go now, there's no turning back. Not today, at least.
I'm still thinking about it, Marty.
Okay, so
Thanks, partner. I'll do that.
I see we're ready.
You'll need a shotgun for this kind of deal, Marty. Maybe even that won't be enough.
Nothing to fear while Bertha's here. Even less because you're here too with Mr. Sinclair, of course.
Should I cry?
That would be nice for a change. If our theory's correct, this photo will hurt more than a bullet.
That's the plan.
Do you think that'll be enough?
Enough evidence. Not in the slightest. That's why we go unannounced.
And with big guns.
Exactly.
I like this new Sonny.
There is no new Sonny. Just the old ones had enough.
You think you'll need your fake badge?
I never needed a badge, Marty.
What a punchline.
It's more like a kind of good luck charm. It reminds me of who I should be.
And?
No, Marty, not really.
If we survive this, can we crack this open?
I'd rather keep it for a really special occasion.
You're saying I'm not special enough?
I was joking. If we survive this, we'll drink it to the last drop.
Now you're talking. It's a little outdated, but I understand why you're so attached to it.
It can pierce the skin of a rhino, Marty, and the rust brings back memories. I'm a man of bad habits.
You know, sometimes I feel like I'm one of your bad habits.
Rest assured, Marty, You are.
Ah, Her Majesty Bertha II.
My drumstick still hurts every time I see her.
Be glad you're alive. Bertha rarely leaves witnesses.
I never thought I'd ever look at this place and think of it as home.
Life's weird, isn't it? I didn't think that after what I did to you, we'd work together again.
You mean when you shot me?
You know I had my reasons, Sonny.
Yeah. Have I ever, apologized?
I don't think so.
Then let's leave it that way.
Hey, I apologize for shooting you, Boss Bird.
That's okay, Marty. It happens even to the best of friends.
I'll remember what you've just said, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah? Well, don't try to take advantage of it.
Who, me? What do you think of me?
Do you remember that case with the goat?
Which one?
When that demented wolf devoured the kids of a young goat mother, and in revenge, she cut open his stomach and filled it with rocks.
Do I remember? I'll never forget it. Hell, that was a slaughterhouse. As far as I know, she even took the remains of the kids with her. But how did that come to mind?
This was that shop. The goat mother was running it. They found the dead wolf in here.
This one exactly? Good gods.
Yeah, before it was closed down, when there was still some life here. Not even that now, just the void.
Yeah, spooky place, that's for sure.
Still, I love to live here.
Sonny, you're creepy. Did you forget anything, Sonny?
No, I just thought I'd take a look. Might be the last time I see it.
You becoming sentimental?
Who knows? Maybe I am.
Oh, that's cute.
Should I say it?
I know, Sonny. I can still get out.
But you won't.
On the beak.
Thanks, pal.
Forget about it. I'd be bored to death otherwise. What was the last book you read, Sonny?
Something by Herringway, if I remember correctly.
Wow, really?
No.
Oh. Buddy, you really need a secretary.
I thought about it too, Marty, but I'm still searching for a lunatic who'd take the job.
I'm sure Lewis would do it. I'd love to see him in a fancy little skirt.
Moron. But at least you finally managed to remember his name.
Really? Shit. I was trying to say it wrong. You know, I thought about it multiple times that you might be Meredith H. Marble.
We've met her on a number of occasions, Marty. Remember? Her real name is Susie.
Maybe Susie's just an actress you hired.
You've read too much of that cheap garbage, Marty. There's no conspiracy theory. Susie's just a money-hungry little dame who made a fortune off of us. That's all.
Yeah, you're disappointing.
I know. A 119 days left, Marty, and I'm out of here. As soon as I get my discharge papers, I'm leaving for the wilderness on the first flight.
You know, I envy you a little.
It's not going to be the real thing. Not on...
Why don't you take Natasha with you?
Huh. What are you even talking about?
Come on, Sonny. Cut the act. I guess everything's about selfish reasons in the end.
Many heroes become heroes out of selfishness, Marty, but not all of them. There are many unsung heroes, too, who already knew that nobody was going to hear about their deeds.
I hope you're not talking about us.
No, Marty, we're not heroes.
Yeah. We've done a lot of stupid things over the years, huh?
More than we should have, that's for sure.
Well, memories grow more beautiful with time. Today, I think what we did was done right.
It's a miracle we didn't burn down the city.
You see? We're getting better.
Well, I don't even know what to think.
I wouldn't like to be in your place, Sonny. But this doesn't change the things that already happened, you know? Your memories remain the same.
Easy to say, Marty, but I feel like nothing's the same anymore. Even my fondest memories have been stolen from me.
You mean she stole them?
Yeah.
Maybe you should look for her. You know, you could find her. You've got the connections.
I could have done it already. Maybe I was too cowardly.
Maybe you should go back to the nursery school.
I know you're just clucking with me, but believe it or not, I've thought about it.
And what's keeping you?
I can't stand children. I can't talk to them, I can't drink or smoke with them, I just don't know what to do with them.
Oh, yeah, that's quite a problem. The blue side of the moon.
So, you know him after all.
Of course I know him. It's M.B. Davis, the greatest musician ever. But sometimes it's just fun to tease you, boss.
I'd like to know how many times you did that to me.
You see, I can still surprise you even after 10 years.
You know it's just 9, don't you?
Of course, I know. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here.
Very funny.
Funny, because it's true. You know, pulling the trigger was the toughest decision of my life.
You mean when you shot me?
Yeah.
But it wasn't hard, because you thought you'd kill me.
Not at all, Sonny. I knew you'd survive. I wanted it to be a permanent injury and hurt like clucking hell. But I knew that everything would change from then on.
That something was gonna break between us?
Yeah, and that I was never gonna be the same either. With that shot, I also gunned down who I was, you know?
It really did hurt like hell.
I know.
I almost bled to death.
Almost was the goal.
And? Did you manage to forgive me since then?
Well, what hurt me wasn't what you did. I mean, of course it did, but what hurt the most was you not trusting me. That you didn't believe me.
Not until you pulled the trigger. At that moment, I knew you were right. Ah, Cluck.
Yeah, Cluck. All right, enough sentimental crap. We have an insane rat waiting to be put behind bars, and a woman you gotta get.
What?
Come on, Sonny. Even a blind bat can see it.
Oh well, Cluck again.
Yep.
The sun was shining, and all the ducks were in a row. I felt ready. The pieces of the grand puzzle were laid out on the table. I just needed to piece them all together. A revealing glance or a careless word, and I'd have the answer. I knew we were in the right place. I knew it was nearly over. Was Natasha really just a victim? Or did she know everything? Was she controlling the puppets from behind the curtain? Well, if you don't know where to go straight ahead. What could possibly go wrong? Here I am, Natasha. I hope you're waiting for me.
Furry gods. I knew he was rich, but wow.
Half the city is in his hands, Marty, and half the Council of 12.
I think we'll catch a big fish today.
Don't count your chickens. I'm sure Wessler's expecting us, and Natasha too, I hope.
You hope?
If I'm right, she could be our only chance of survival.
Lovely prospects, huh?
I've had worse.
Really?